Today's Mass readings and Gospel reflection. November 25, 2020. Wednesday of the 34th week in Ordinary Time. First reading. A reading from the Revelations to John. Revelations chapter 15 verse 1 to 4. I, John, saw in heaven another sign, great and awe-inspiring. 7 angels with the 7 last plagues. For through them God's fury is accomplished. Then I saw something like a sea of glass mingled with fire. On the sea of glass were standing those who had won the victory over the beast and its image in the number that signified its name. They were holding God's harps. And they sang the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb. Great and wonderful are your works, Lord God Almighty. Just and true are your ways, O King of the nations. Who will not fear you, Lord, or glorify your name? For you alone are holy. All the nations will come and worship before you, for your righteous acts have been revealed. The word of the Lord. Responsorial Psalm. Psalms chapter 98 verse 1 to 3 AB and 7 to 9. Let our response be: great and wonderful are all your works, Lord, mighty God. Sing to the Lord a new song, for he has done wondrous deeds. His right hand has won victory for him. His holy arm. Great and wonderful are all your works, Lord, mighty God. The Lord has made his salvation known. In the sight of the nations he has revealed his justice. He has remembered his kindness and his faithfulness toward the house of Israel. Great and wonderful are all your works, Lord, mighty God. Let the sea and what fills it resound, the world and those who dwell in it. Let the rivers clap their hands, the mountains shout with them for joy. Great and wonderful are all your works, Lord, mighty God. Before the Lord, for he comes to rule the earth. He will rule the world with justice and the peoples with equity. Great and wonderful are all your works, Lord, mighty God. Gospel reading. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Luke chapter 21 verse 12 to 19. Jesus said to the crowd, "They will seize and persecute you. They will hand you over to the synagogues and to prisons. And they will have you led before kings and governors because of my name. It will lead to your giving testimony. Remember, you are not to prepare your defense beforehand. For I myself shall give you a wisdom in speaking that all your adversaries will be powerless to resist or refute. You will even be handed over by parents, brothers, relatives, and friends. And they will put some of you to death. You will be hated by all because of my name. But not a hair on your head will be destroyed. By your perseverance you will secure your lives." The Gospel of the Lord. Before we proceed with the video, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Also, please hit the notification bell, so you won't miss out when we release new videos. Feel free to share your comments, suggestions, and reflections at the comments section down below. Thank you and God bless. Now, let's proceed with the video. The reflection on today's Gospel. In today's Gospel, which is a continuation of the discourse begun yesterday, Jesus lists different signs to help the communities place themselves in these events and not lose faith in God, as well as the courage to persevere against the attacks of the Roman Empire. We will repeat the first 5 signs mentioned in yesterday's Gospel. First sign: the false messiahs. Second sign: war and revolutions. Third sign: nations which fight against other nations. A kingdom against another kingdom. Fourth sign: earthquakes in different places. Fifth sign: hunger, plagues and signs in the sky. Yesterday's gospel ends here. Now, in today's gospel another sign is added. Sixth sign: the persecution of Christians. The sixth sign is the persecution. At various times, in the few years which he lived among us, Jesus warned the disciples that they would be persecuted. Here, in the last discourse, he repeats the same warning and makes them know that the persecution has to be taken into consideration in discerning the signs of the times. He will be seized and persecuted. He will be handed over to the synagogues and to imprisonment, and brought before kings and governors, for the sake of my name. Of these apparently very negative warnings, Jesus had said, "Do not be terrified, for this is something that must happen first, but the end will not come at once." And the Gospel of Mark adds that all these signs have only begun. This is the beginning of the birth pangs. Birth pangs, though being very painful for the mother, are not a sign of death, but rather of life. They are not a reason for fear, but rather to hope. This way of reading the events brings peace to the persecuted communities. Reading or hearing these signs, prophesied by Jesus in the year 33, the readers of Luke of the years 80 could conclude that all these things are taking place according to the plan foreseen and announced by Jesus. Therefore, history has not escaped from God's hand. God is with us. The mission of the Christians during the time of persecution. Persecution is not something fatal or reason for discouragement or despair. It should be considered a possibility offered by God and a way that the communities may carry out the mission of witnessing to the good news of God. God says, "That will be your opportunity to bear witness. Make up your minds not to prepare your defense, because I myself shall give you a mouth and wisdom that none of your opponents will be able to resist or contradict." Through this affirmation, Jesus encourages the persecuted Christians who lived in anguish. He makes them know that even if they are persecuted, they have a mission to carry out, to give witness of the good news of God and thus be a sign of the kingdom. A courageous witness would lead the people to repeat what the magicians in Egypt said before the signs, and to have courage like Moses and Aaron. The finger of God is here. Conclusion: the community should not be worried. If everything is in God's hands, if everything was already foreseen, if everything is nothing more than birth pangs, then there is no reason to worry. You will be betrayed even by parents and brothers, relatives and friends, and some of you will be put to death. You will be hated universally on account of my name. Persecution does not only come from outside, from the empire, but also from inside, from one's own family. In the same family, some accepted the good news, others did not. The announcement of the good news caused divisions within families. There were even some people who denounced and killed their own relatives who declared themselves followers of Jesus, using the old law. But not a hair of your head will be lost. Your perseverance will gain your lives. This final observation of Jesus recalls the other word which Jesus had said, "But not a hair of your head will be lost." This comparison was a strong call not to lose faith and to continue righteously in the community. And this also confirms what Jesus had said on another occasion: "Anyone who wants to save his life will lose it. But anyone who will lose his life for my sake will save it." How do you usually read the stages of the history of your life or of your country? Looking at the history of humanity of the last years, has hope increased or diminished in you? Yahweh has made known his saving power, revealed his saving justice for the nations to see, mindful of his faithful love and his constancy to the house of Israel.